Live from downtown Macon, this is WGXA News at 5.
Good evening, Middle Georgia, and thanks for watching WGXA News at 5. I'm Greg Lloyd. Well, new tonight, we've learned a mid-state sheriff faces a state investigation. For the past few months, the governor's office has been investigating the Pulaski County Sheriff, and last year, Governor Brian Kemp issued an executive order calling for a committee to look into accusations from the Georgia Sheriff's Association accusing Sheriff Danny Brennan of not performing all duties required for his position. Kemp appointed Newton County Sheriff Ezell Brown and Columbia County Sheriff Clay Whittle, along with Attorney General Chris Carr, to serve on that committee. They have 30 days to make a report. The search is over for a wanted mid-state fugitive. According to the GBI, Joel Butler's time on the run came to an end this morning after leading authorities on a chase from Bleckley to Twiggs counties. Now, Butler is accused of killing William Harrell at a home in Eastman yesterday before setting that house on fire. He's also wanted for aggravated assault on Tuesday. We're learning more about a fatal hit and run that killed a woman overnight. According to the Bibb County deputies, Tracy Pitts was hit on Rocky Creek Road. New information from the sheriff's office says the vehicle involved left the scene and came back later. Now, the owner of the vehicle met with investigators where they learned that, quote, shade tree mechanic, end quote, goes by the name of D, was seen test driving the woman's car when he hit Pitts. Investigators are asking you to contact them if you have any information on this mechanic that's said to be involved. An horrific wreck in South Georgia leaves one person dead, multiple more injured, and a man behind bars. According to officials with the Georgia Department of Public Safety, yesterday afternoon, a Toyota Camry drove through the doors of the Thomasville Walmart Supercenter, hitting several people before it stopped moving. The driver, Khalil Pugh, got out of the car and tried to run away, but was stopped by bystanders in the store. Authorities say Pugh was driving recklessly and at high speeds before crashing into the store. He's charged with reckless driving and vehicular homicide in the death of Kenneth Kennedy. University of Georgia football player Jalen Carter has reached a plea deal related to traffic charges stemming from a car crash that killed a teammate and UGA recruiter. The crash happened back in January, hours after a parade celebrating UGA's National College Championship. Carter was in a vehicle racing against another vehicle driven by staff member Chandler LaCroix. Teammate Devin Willick was also in LaCroix's vehicle. Both of them died. Carter pleaded no contest, which is not an admission of guilt. The agreement with prosecutors resulted in 1 year of probation, a $1,000 fine, and 50 hours of community service. However, the agreement fully resolves the charges, and it forbids prosecutors from bringing more charges. It comes a month ahead of the NFL draft, which Carter is expected to be a top pick. Earlier this week, a judge revoked bond for people on house arrest after discovering that the monitoring company was not reporting when people left their homes. The breaches came to light after a suspect on house arrest died in a shootout away from where he was supposed to be. Our Gloria Ruth Finney walks us through the checks and balances of potentially dangerous suspects out on bond, if there are indeed any at all.
If it takes somebody getting killed for us to find out that these people are violating their bond every other day, then I don't need that company in my life. I'm going to revoke all of your bond back to the Bibb County Jail.
That's what Judge Howard Sims had to say about a private monitoring company's failure to track breaches of court-ordered house arrest in Macon. Community members we've talked with are concerned about potential violent suspects walking the streets unmonitored as well. So I looked into the monitoring process. Here's how it's supposed to play out. If the monitoring company uses a device such as an ankle monitor to keep tabs on the person out on bond, when they travel outside of their set limitations, the monitoring company receives a notification and is supposed to notify the sheriff's office and/or the DA's office. Then the district attorney files a motion to revoke the bond, sending the person to jail until their day in court. However, in this case, officials told us no notifications were given by the monitoring company. So what's holding the monitoring company accountable for making sure suspects don't roam from home? According to Judge Sims, the private bonding company is supposed to. However, the bonding company says it's not their job, claiming they have no way of knowing if a house arrest suspect is roaming. What's more, they claim to only use the monitoring company on a referral basis, meaning they have no contractual agreement with them. But there has to be a failsafe, right? Well, I talked to the sheriff's office and they told me they actually have no way of knowing if someone is breaching house arrest either. So the question remains, why is there no monitoring involvement by public safety for people suspected of violent crimes on house arrest?
Now, Gloria Ruth did sit down today with the sheriff, and she'll have more on what he has to say about making sure this is never a problem again. That's coming up tonight at 10. Well, so we did enjoy a lot of sunshine, but just as Chief Meteorologist Eric Garlick told us, it was one of those days where you needed to dress in layers because you started out so cool in the morning, and as the day progressed, well, we felt like being a little bit more casual with our dress.
Greg, it was like a shock to the system when you stepped outside this morning.
Yes.
At least until the sun came up, we warmed up really quickly. 70 degrees this afternoon, south winds at 10 miles per hour. Wilson Bryant Heating and Air Skycast Network. I'm going to call it right now, sunset alert. A little bit of high cloud cover, going to be looking at a pretty nice sunset, south winds at 10 miles per hour. Look at these temperatures. Big change from where we were yesterday at this time. 69 in Gray, 69 in Hawkinsville, 72 in McRae. Tonight, we're only going to get down into the mid-40s, a lot closer to average for this time of year, but we do have the chance for some severe weather for our Friday. We'll talk about that and break down the threats and timeline. That coming up in your full forecast in just a bit. Greg?
Your focus for Georgia leaders from the top down has been tackling human trafficking. The discussions on how to achieve that came to the Mid-State today. Macon District Attorney Anita R. Howard, along with Out of Darkness Middle Georgia, hosted a human trafficking symposium. Select panelists from the area presented a discussion on how to help end human trafficking in the Middle Georgia community.
So this is a way for us to come together collectively as a community to figure out what are some of those identifiers, what to do if we see some of those signs, for us to bring awareness to human trafficking that's going on here in Middle Georgia, and also for us to focus on prevention.
On a trip to the southern border today, Congressman Austin Scott said he was the, quote, dire situation that he is witnessing there. He called on the Biden administration to restore law and order at the border. Americans' relations with one of our most critical partners and neighbors is under the microscope tonight as policymakers in Washington wonder what to do about Mexico. The discussion's more heated after drug cartels recently admitted to the killing of an American medical tourist. Now, there is a renewed push on Capitol Hill to call the cartels terror groups and go after them more aggressively. Chief Political Correspondent Scott Thuman explains.
It is not just the crush of migrants at the southern border that have policymakers in Washington searching for answers. It is crime, like the cartel kidnapping of 4 Americans, 2 of whom died after they crossed into Mexico for medical procedures, all part of a growing concern.
When you see some of the violence that has happened in Mexico over the years, it's nothing short of terrorism.
On Wednesday, during a congressional hearing at the border, officials acknowledged they're not in complete control.
That's the definition of operational control. Based upon the definition you have, sir, up there, no.
Many questioning if it's time to label Mexican drug cartels as foreign terror organizations. It's a perennial debate. For years, lawmakers have sent letters to both Presidents Biden and Trump requesting that move. Last week, 2 Republican senators unveiled a bill to do just that, add resources to pursue and prosecute cartels, even freeze assets. But it could also worsen relations with Mexico, one of America's top two-way trading partners at more than $600 billion in annual goods.
Designating these cartels as FTOs would not grant us any additional authorities that we don't really have at this time.
The cartels reach inside the U.S., another worry in Washington. This map from the DEA highlights areas across the country it says cartels have a significant influence on distribution of drugs like fentanyl, heroin, and cocaine. Yet Mexico's president says the blame should be widespread, pointing out American residents are often the ones selling the drugs inside the U.S., but said critics don't talk enough about that. The debate now getting much louder. In Washington, I'm Scott Thuman.
You, Scott, and what do you think, Middle Georgia? Do you think that Mexican cartels should be labeled terrorist organizations? We have our question of the day posted to our Facebook, so head there and let us know what you think. We'll let the games begin. Fierce competition turned into a day of fun as students got out of the classroom and enjoyed a day of sports. That story next. Okay, that is good.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Gary Thigpen, and I'm here again at All About Animals Rescue in Macon, and I'm joined with Lisa and Nicole today. And guess who we're going to showcase today? A beautiful, lovely young fella here. Who is he?
Halo, your best friend, is waiting for you right here at All About Animals. This is Halo. Halo's about a year or two old. We recently took Halo out in the community to an event, and let me tell you something, he did great. He got along with everybody. He gave a lot of love and kisses to people. And just had a good time. Rides very well in the vehicle. Telling you, this is your new best friend right here.
And you can see how calm he is, but before we went on camera, he was full of energy. So if you got a fenced-in backyard or a big area, he would be perfect for that.
He really would be. So he's great. So this would be, like I said, a great addition to your family.
Now, Lisa, if someone would like to adopt Halo, how do they go about doing that?
Send us a message on Facebook, All About Animals Rescue. Let us know you saw him on TV, and one of our volunteers will get back with you as soon as possible.
So beautiful, so loving, needs a good home. And what was that?
He is also very dog and cat friendly.
Very dog and cat friendly. So if that's what you're looking for, Halo's your guy. All right, guys, let's go ahead and do that right now and find him a good home. Thanks, Lisa and Nicole.
Thank you.
All right, and thank you, Gary. Well, fried food is a guilty pleasure for many people. Genevieve Gorder has a handy way to cook your favorite fried foods without guilt. She's explaining in America's Steals and Deals.
The following segment is sponsored by Knocking.
Everybody, I've got something to show you today that you're all very familiar with, but there's an extra twist. Now, we all love a good air fryer. It's quick, we avoid the oil, the calories, seriously like 70% less calories. But as a designer, and I'm sure a lot of you share this with me, I think they're bulky, they're not so cute, and they take up way too much space on the counter. Okay, my rant is over. Needless to say, when the air roll showed up in the mail, I was doing a little dance. Let me tell you about this solution-based product that is going to solve all your bulky air fryer issues. It's called the Air Whirl Crisper, and it can turn any pan into an air fryer. So you just place this lid on any pan that you already have, and your food will be air fried in a fraction of the time. I used it the same day it arrived. Put the lid on, press the button, done. And then you're winning because you can put it all away in the drawer. The Air Whirl is so easy to use, battery operated. You can store it without any of those tangled wires. And the thermometer is right here in the front of the lid. So you always know what temperature you are cooking at, just like you would on any traditional air fryer. Right now on ASA Deals, we are offering an exclusive 33% off the Air Whirl Crisper. You guys take advantage of this deal because they're not going to last long. Go to asadeals.com.
Well, today dozens of elementary students came together with several Peach County High School students for an Olympic occasion. Our Carlos Stevens was there, and he joins us live in the studio tonight with more. Hey, Carlos.
Hey Greg, the torch wasn't lit, but the games began all the same. Today, the Peach County Elementary Special Olympics kicked off. It was an opportunity for each child to not only show off some skills, but build relationships. Smiles, cheers, and fun. It was a day of Olympic proportions for Peach County's elementary school students. Because for the fourth year, the Special Olympics took over the Peach County football field, joined by high school students to guide them in each game. Special Olympics coordinator Brenda Arnett says the event is always a special time for everyone.
It allows them to be like everybody else, and that's the big thing.
She says oftentimes the high school students enjoy it more than the elementary kids.
It's probably better for them than it is for the special ed kids, so it's just a great partnership.
A partnership that Peach County High School senior Keenan Solomon says is exciting to witness.
It was just so heartwarming to see, kids who struggle with, learning difficulties or physical difficulties, not worry about those difficulties holding them back and just doing what they love, just playing and being regular children.
But another Peach County student says it's more than just the excitement. It's the bond that's created between the high school students and the Little Olympians. And he hopes they know one thing.
And they always love.
Solomon says part of that love is making sure the young students don't feel out of place.
They are not being judged. They are seen as regular kids who may need a little more help. And I hope other kids who see this realize they are just normal kids just like them, and they don't deserve to be treated any differently.
And after a day full of getting active, the competitions might be over, but the memories will last forever.
These kids will remember them for a long time because that is now their friend.
And Arnett says the Olympic Games won't stop here. They plan to continue for years to come. Greg, how special is that? Back to you.
Thank you so much, Carlos, for that. Well, Brookdale Resource Center is adding its newest resource. This afternoon, Macon Mayor Lester Miller announced an initiative to feed hundreds of people fresh food. Through a partnership with the United Way of Central Georgia, the Bibb County School District, and the Bibb County Cooperative Extension, leaders are hoping to change the way guests at the center are fed. Miller adds the initiative will not only help people at Brookdale, but those throughout the community. Patients at Macon's Beverly Knight Olson Children's Hospital will have a new way to get a break from their troubles. Today, Atrium Health Navicent cut the ribbon on a new outdoor music park for patients. The park was made possible with a pledge from Panda Express to donate more than $400,000 in the coming years.
I really want them to know that the 100% of the donation goes to the foundation. We do not keep any of it, and we do not do tax credit. You know, it is 100% going to the Children's Hospital.
The Panda Care Center of Hope Outdoor Music Park will be located at the Children's Hospital.
Well, it was another cold morning, like we told you, down to 30 degrees this morning in Macon. We were warmer than we were yesterday. And how about this afternoon, 71 degrees, right where our average high temperature is, picking up 3 inches of rain thus far this month. We're going to see more of that. Mercer, 70 degrees. Wilson Bryant Heating and Air Skycast Network showing some of those high clouds off in the distance as that sun goes down. Going to make for a beautiful sunset. Milledgeville, 72, 69 in Cochrane. Looking at Americus at 69, 72 in Soperton. Wrightsville at 70, and Forsyth at 70 as well. Tonight, down to about 47 degrees, so not nearly as cold as we've been, but we will see more cold air coming our way. Sunday and Monday and Tuesday back into the low to mid 30s, so we'll be on the frost and freeze watch once again for next week. Now hopefully this is the last cold snap that we do see, but looking a little bit long range, we'll likely see temperatures close to average. Radar is quiet right now. Got to go all the way back to Oklahoma and Texas, where we do have some severe weather, but some rain as close as the Mississippi River, and that will move in tomorrow and give us our rain chance. It's 52 at 8, by noon 64, 71 at 4 o'clock with rain starting. Cherry Blossom Opening Festival festivities at noon. Likely going to see the potential for some isolated showers, but our rain chances really start to ramp up as we head toward the second half of the evening. Hour by hour forecast showing those isolated showers potentially popping up midday, but then we'll see a line of storms coming through as we go through the evening and into the early overnight hours. As that line drifts off to the south and east, it will allow for some colder air to filter back in, but it's also going to bring the threat for some severe weather. Level 1 on a scale 1 to 5 from Butler, Montezuma, down toward Cordele and off to the south and west of us. Damaging winds going to be the main threat with those storms. 1 to 2 inches of rain possible over the next 7 days here in Middle Georgia. Now we picked up quite a bit of warm weather to start the month, but we did pick up some cold weather over the last week or so. Rainfall around 3 inches. That 10-day forecast showing the rain on Friday, but drying out, staying cold this weekend. Back into the 70s next week with another small chance for some rain coming Tuesday into Wednesday. Harrison Body Shop Fishing Game forecast in the good category, 10-20 tonight.
The pandemic has taken its toll on major American cities, leading to crime, homelessness, and a slow return to work. Chris Daniels with a spotlight on America to show us why there's momentum for diversifying the core of the country's largest cities.
In Seattle, it is not hard to question if the central nervous system has been disrupted.
because the heart of it is not beating. Macy's is gone, Starbucks is gone, Nike's gone, the movie theater's gone.
We're in a period of transition, no doubt.
John Scholes is the president of the Downtown Seattle Association. What is it going to take to get downtown thriving again?
We still face some headwinds. We still have more vacancies than we'd like. We still don't have as many office workers as we'd like. And job number one is to make it safe and welcoming.
Seattle is not the only city with such a challenge, with office vacancy rates above 20%. Minneapolis is near 30%. And in New York, the city's mayor is suggesting converting unused space to homes.
Do you think Seattle is any different than other major American cities?
I was in Nashville and Dallas and Cincinnati, and those three other cities, not nearly as much security and safety issues in their downtown streets.
Pat Callahan is the founder and CEO of the Urban Renaissance Group, which develops and manages hundreds of thousands of square feet in real estate across 4 states, and agrees with the New York mayor's idea.
And we have an historic opportunity right now to think about conversions of office to residential.
A recent Gensler Research Institute study of residents in North America's top cities also indicates people want restaurants, bars, parks, theaters, and public transit in the central business district, as opposed to the big box retail and shopping centers of yesteryear. Japanese-based retailer Uniqlo is hoping to buck that trend. You thought about going in this particular spot.
This is a perfect mix of local customers and also tourists.
Any concerns with empty storefronts around you?
No, I think it's a matter of providing, again, that level of rejuvenation and coming in and being able to provide something new for the local community. Instead of running away from a problem, why not come in and try to be part of the solution?
There was a line out the door on opening day last November in Seattle.
Have you had some of the issues that other businesses have complained about in downtown with criminal activity or shoplifting or anything like that?
We can't say that we have. We have not.
In fact, Uniqlo says sales at the nearly 12,000 square foot store have exceeded expectations here by 50% in the first few months, citing a strategic, bright decision to capture foot traffic, and that it will likely target struggling downtown sectors in its North American expansion plan.
And we've got some upgrading to do in downtown Seattle.
Scholes says he believes cities should also focus on spending millions to improve streets, adding lights and greenery like Seattle is just starting to do, to discourage bad actors and bring good people back. It may be a chess piece on a complicated board across the country, still filled with empty spaces. For Spotlight on America, I'm Chris Daniels.
Well, lawmakers got into a heated debate under the Gold Dome today. After the break, we see why so many are clashing over a push for more oversight of local prosecutors.
Live from downtown Macon, this is WGXA News at 5.
Good evening, and thanks for watching WGXA News at 5. I'm Greg Lloyd. For the past few months, the governor's office has been investigating the Pulaski County Sheriff. Last year, Governor Brian Kemp issued an executive order calling for a committee to look into accusations from the Georgia Sheriff's Association accusing Sheriff Danny Brannon of not performing all duties required for his position. Kemp appointed Newton County Sheriff Ezell Brown and Columbia County Sheriff Clay Whittle, along with Attorney General Chris Carr, to serve on that committee. They now have 30 days in order to make that report. Well, the search is over for a wanted mid-state man who's accused of criminal activity. According to the GBI, Joel Butler's time on the run came to an end this morning after leading authorities on a chase from Bleckley to Twiggs. Butler is accused of killing William Harrell at a home in Eastman yesterday before setting that house on fire. He's also wanted for an aggravated assault incident from Tuesday. We're learning more about a fatal hit and run that killed a woman overnight. According to Bibb County deputies, Tracy Pitts was hit on Rocky Creek Road. New information from the sheriff's office says the vehicle involved left the scene and later came back. The owner of the vehicle met with investigators where they learned that, quote, Shade Tree Mechanic, a person who goes by the name of D, was test driving the woman's car when he hit Pitts. Investigators are asking you to contact them if you have any information on that person. An horrific wreck in South Georgia left one person dead, multiple more injured, and a man behind bars, according to officials with the Georgia Department of Public Safety. Yesterday afternoon, a Toyota Camry drove through the doors of the Thomasville Walmart Supercenter, hitting several people before it stopped moving. The driver, Khalil Pugh, got out of the car and tried to run away, but was stopped by bystanders in the store. Authorities say Pugh was driving recklessly and at high speeds before crashing into that store. He's charged with reckless driving and vehicular homicide in the death of Kenneth Kennedy. Houston County's chairman got his hands dirty for a good cause today to help support United Way. Dan Perdue took soap and a sponge in hand to wash a county employee's car. The car wash isn't just a nice gesture, but connected to Jeff Smith Auto's fundraising and car giveaway aimed at helping the United Way of Central Georgia. Perdue explains why it was so important for him to get involved.
United Way is so instrumental in the good work that a lot of nonprofit and community support organizations are doing in Houston County and really in the entire region here.
The employees helped raise almost $3,000 for United Way through that car wash. Patients at Macon's Beverly Knight Olson's Children's Hospital will now have a new way to take a break from their troubles. Today, Atrium Health Navicent cut the ribbon on a new outdoor music park for patients. The park was made possible with a pledge from Panda Express to donate more than $400,000 in the coming years.
Know that the 100% of the donation goes to the foundation. We do not keep any of it, and we do not do tax credit. It is 100% going to the Children's Hospital.
The Panda Care Center of Hope Outdoor Music Park will be located at Children's Hospital. Brookdale Resource Center is adding its newest resource. This afternoon, Macon Mayor Lester Miller announced an initiative to feed hundreds of people fresh food through a partnership with the United Way of Central Georgia, the Bibb County School District, and the Bibb County Cooperative Extension. Leaders are hoping to change the way guests at the center are fed.
It gives us the opportunity to provide fresh fruits and vegetables to our residents here. It's something that we don't get the opportunity to have on a regular basis. And it'll also give the opportunity for the residents themselves to participate and see what it takes for farmers to grow the food.
Miller adds the initiative will not only help people at Brookdale, but those throughout the community. Earlier in the state legislative session, we told you about a push by a group of lawmakers to create more oversight of local prosecutors. Well, today things got heated during a House committee on this bill. Our Brianna Cook breaks down the debate.
Georgia district attorneys faced off Wednesday over a proposed state-appointed commission that could remove prosecutors from office for abuse of power or negligence in pursuing some cases. Senator Randy Robertson, the main sponsor of the bill, pointed out that there is a gap within the oversight in the judicial system for prosecuting attorneys.
If we put our Superior Court judges, if we put our state court judges, and we put those others that sit on the bench and carry such immense power, if we put them under the microscope of the JQC, I do not see putting prosecuting attorneys, the 50 that exist here in the state of Georgia, under some level of scrutiny.
Robertson says what started the process with the bill was seeing DAs conduct misconduct on the job.
A district attorney was elected into the Chattahoochee Circuit, and probably a year and a half or 2 years in office, it was required that he resign. He pled guilty to some prosecutorial misconduct and was sentenced to spend a little time in the Georgia Department of Corrections. And this was due to prosecutorial misconduct. It was
Representative and lawyer Tanya Miller raises concerns, saying there are already protocols to deal with misconduct.
If we already have mechanisms in place that are more streamlined, meaning that the Attorney General could, for example, investigate allegations against a prosecutor, determine that the prosecutor violated their oath of office or other things, indict them, which would give the governor the ability to suspend them. Why do you think we need a commission of however many folks that are appointed by various partisans to do what we already can do in a more streamlined way?
The commission would follow the standards set by the Judicial Qualification Commission of Georgia, which investigates complaints led against judges and recommends sanctions when warranted. With the bill, district attorneys can be forced to go before a disciplinary board if anyone files a complaint for any reason under the legislation. Douglas County District Attorney Dahlia Rosson, who opposes the bill, says DAs are almost like a punching bag, even though they're representing the community.
I like to call this provision the shut up and dribble portion of the bill, where somehow we are held to the same standard of judges who are umpires. They're refs. They are supposed to be unbiased. We are advocates. We stand up for our community. We sometimes have to take the position of unpopular opinion.
Coweta District Attorney Herb Cranford says he is in support of the bill regardless of the protocols in place.
I saw behavior of other elected prosecutors across the state that concerned me. And, you know, for example, sexual harassment that's been raised, I didn't see a good way to deal with that. Yes, there are elected prosecutors who have been prosecuted and removed from office by elections, but on balance, I just wasn't satisfied.
Well, with just 2 weeks left in the legislative session, bills are hitting the governor's desk. One bill targets those exploiting elderly Georgians. It would do that by allowing financial advisors to delay transactions if they suspect fraud. The other bill would put in motion the process of assessing whether college degrees should be a requirement for state jobs. The bill is only looking to drop the requirement for certain jobs, keeping degree or certification requirements in place for jobs where it's considered necessary. And a bill banning TikTok on state devices gaining ground. Georgia is one of dozens of states moving to ban the social media site. The bill would make law if Governor Kemp's order last year that prohibited TikTok. The move is over national security concerns being brought against TikTok, with it being owned by a Chinese company, ByteDance. In the toughest stance yet against TikTok, the Biden administration is reportedly threatening a possible ban of the app used by more than 100 million Americans. It's a flashpoint in a wider China-U.S. conflict, but as Madeline Rivera tells us tonight, not all Americans are on board.
The Biden administration has an ultimatum for TikTok. The White House wants its Chinese owners to divest their stakes in the company or face a potential ban in the U.S.
There's a process here. We try to stay away from that process. Look, we've expressed concerns over China's potential use of software platforms that could endanger or threaten America's safety.
TikTok CEO says a forced sale wouldn't change much, while some politicians say new ownership isn't enough. There is bipartisan concern that the app could present national security risks, with users' private information potentially going to China. A Chinese official said Thursday the U.S. has no evidence of this.
We're concerned about the data mining. I mean, this is 80 to 100 million devices, largely targeted at our youth.
It does scare me a little bit, but will I stop using it? Probably not.
While a ban has support in Congress, Americans are divided. A new poll finds about half support a ban on some foreign technology. Republicans and older respondents favor it more over Democrats and younger people.
There's some informational videos on there I like, how-to videos, and there's some funny content.
TikTok has capitalized on its popularity even amid the backlash, with plans to introduce a feed dedicated to STEM and a new campaign to highlight businesses that have benefited from the app. But critics say it's just a head fake.
This is just a cosmetic fix. It doesn't change the whole idea that it's a place to really get poor information, not proper information, and it's dangerous to our teens.
TikTok CEO is expected to respond to these criticisms at a congressional hearing next week. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
To weather now, and we did wake up to some cool temperatures out there, but it warmed up nicely, just as Chief Meteorologist Eric Garlick told us it would do to bring on the layers. I wonder if we'll have to do that again tomorrow, Eric.
Yeah, Greg, a pretty nice day this afternoon. We will be cool tomorrow, not quite as cold. 70 degrees at Mercer, Wilson Bryan Heating and Air Skycast Network showing us that. And we should have a pretty nice sunset with just a little bit of high cloud cover over top of us, making that sunset pretty colorful. 68 in Gray, 72 in Soperton, 69 in Americus. Tonight down to 47 degrees, a little bit of cloud cover. We start to see that cloud cover increasing throughout the day tomorrow and giving us the chance for some rain, even a few severe storms by the end of the day. We'll break down what this severe weather threat level means and talk about what types of severe weather we could see. That'll come up in your full forecast in just a little bit. But right now, we'll be right back.
Well, today dozens of elementary students came together with several Peach County High School students for an Olympic occasion. Our Carlos Stevens was there. He joins us live tonight in the studio with more. Carlos?
Greg, the torch wasn't lit, but the games began all the same. Today, the Peach County Elementary Special Olympics kicked off. It was an opportunity for each child to not only show off some skills, but build relationships. Smiles, cheers, and fun. It was a day of Olympic proportions for Peach County's elementary school students. Because for the fourth year, the Special Olympics took over the Peach County football field, joined by high school students to guide them in each game. Special Olympics coordinator Brenda Arnett says the event is always a special time for everyone.
It allows them to be like everybody else. And that's the big thing.
She says oftentimes the high school students enjoy it more than the elementary kids.
It's probably better for them than it is for the special ed kids. So it's just a great partnership.
A partnership that Peach County High School senior Keenan Solomon says is exciting to witness.
It was just so heartwarming to see, kids who struggle with, learning difficulties or physical difficulties, not worry about those difficulties holding them back and just doing what they love, just playing and being regular children.
But another Peach County student says it's more than just the excitement. It's the bond that's created between the high school students and the little Olympians. And he hopes they know one thing.
And they always love.
Solomon says part of that love is making sure the young students don't feel out of place.
They are not being judged. They are seen as regular kids who may need a little more help. And I hope other kids who see this realize they are just normal kids just like them, and they don't deserve to be treated any differently.
And after a day full of getting active, the competitions might be over, but the memories will last forever.
These kids will remember them for a long time because that is now their friend.
Now, Arnett says the Olympic Games won't stop here. They plan to continue for years to come. Greg, how special is that?
Wonderful indeed. Thank you so much, Carlos. Well, athletics is not the only reason that Peach County schools are celebrating today. Peach County High students and teachers got hyped up for a secret pep rally for a special announcement. T-Mobile will be giving Fort Valley $50,000 after being selected for the company's hometown grant. T-Mobile says these grants are their way to help rural and small town communities grow. Fort Valley will be using their grant to make the Peach County High School Discovery Lab a reality. The lab will be full of computers and virtual reality tech aimed at improving how students learn. If you're in the mood for some breakfast for dinner, we've got the place for you. The Dublin Exchange Club is hosting its pancake supper at Dublin Middle School. You can get full while eating like an Irishman with pancakes, sausage, and bacon. Sounds delicious. Looks great, too. The supper will cost you $10, and then you can stop by until 8 o'clock tonight. WGXA wants to send you to the Ambetter Health 400 at Atlanta Motor Speedway this weekend. All you have to do is visit WGXA.tv/station/contest and enter the keyword that you see here for your chance to win 2 VIP suite tickets and race passes. You must be 18 years old or older to enter. For complete rules and details, visit our website. January did not come back with a good jobs report for Macon as unemployment saw a slight rise. According to the state labor commissioner, January ended at 3.8%, just a tenth lower than last January, saw less than 800 people in the workforce. That in turn caused unemployment claims to go up by 69% from December to January. On Capitol Hill today, a Senate hearing about the president's budget proposal was overshadowed by worries about the stability of America's banking system. Altra El-Nashar has the latest fallout, including how regional bank stocks are starting to bounce back on news of a rescue plan in the works from larger banks.
It's been a week of fallout from the collapse of 2 American banks, a Swiss investment bank teetering on failure, and a brutal week for bank stocks.
Nerves are certainly frayed at this moment.
Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen on Capitol Hill Thursday responding to senators' concerns about how Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank collapsed.
Traditional prudential regulation should have caught this.
And to start to address the question on everyone's mind, were these banks isolated incidents, or is there a contagion throughout the banking system that could push more to the brink? Yellen trying to reassure them.
I can reassure the members of the committee that our banking system is sound.
The trouble's also brewing for First Republic Bank, downgraded to junk by S&P Global Ratings and Fitch Ratings. News surfacing Thursday afternoon, it's in talks with major banks about a plan to bounce back. Meanwhile, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink says in a letter to shareholders he thinks banks will pull back lending to protect their balance sheets from the volatility created by the failure of the two banks. Yellen says that's exactly what the Treasury is worried about.
We could see credit become more expensive and less available. That could turn this into a source of significant downside economic risk.
That would be tough timing during this slowdown the Federal Reserve is engineering to cool inflation. Everything feels very touch and go at the moment, especially ahead of another potential Fed rate hike next week. But many economists appear confident there won't be a crash.
I don't think this is a time for panic or alarm. This is not 2008.
A different era, still with its own set of risks. On Capitol Hill, I'm Atrell Nashar reporting.
Good evening, I'm Chief Meteorologist Eric Garlick. Started the day off at 30 degrees, but we made it up to 71 degrees. Our average high today, 71 degrees. Mercer University, 70 degrees. South wind at 10 miles per hour. Wilson Bryant Heating and Air Skycast Network showing us that image. And we will see a pretty nice sunset. 69 degrees in Sandersville. Looking at Fort Valley at 70 degrees, 72 in Soperton, McRae at 72 as well. We're 10 degrees warmer in Macon than we were yesterday at this time, 11 degrees warmer, Dublin and Milledgeville. Another cold night tonight, but not as cold, down into the 40s, 47 degrees, seasonable for this time of year, but we get cold once again. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, all into the low to mid 30s and approaching that freeze mark once again, especially on Monday. Projecting that, forecasting that to be the coldest morning over the next week or so, but we will gradually start to warm up through next week. Got to watch out for some frost and maybe even a freeze once again by the end of the week. Radar quiet here in Middle Georgia. Here's our next weather maker approaching the Mississippi Valley and dumping some severe weather out across Oklahoma and Texas. Some very large hail and tornadoes possible in that area. We will see the potential for some thunderstorms, but severe weather threat is on the very low end. 52 degrees at 8 by noon, 64, 71 with those showers and even some thunderstorms working in. Can't rule out an isolated shower or two as we go through the morning. Going to be cloudy. Could see some of that drizzle, light rain. Rain chances really start to ramp up moving towards 7 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. We'll show you on the hour-by-hour forecast. Take you through the overnight period into tomorrow morning. You can see a few specks of green. Not great rain chances in the morning, but they will be there as we move toward the afternoon. We'll see those chances increasing, and then moving into the evening, we'll see our highest rain chances as we continue through the evening. The storm threat will push off to the south and east, but could see some lingering showers into Saturday morning. There's that severe weather threat area shaded in a 1 on a scale of 1 to 5 for the amount of severe storms. Generally looking at a damaging wind threat with that. 1 to 2 inches out across Middle Georgia right now, and we could see 1 to 2 inches over the next 7 days. So a couple different chances for rain, but primarily going to come from our Friday rain chances. Temperatures have been quite cool the last week or so and will remain with those temperatures on the cool side after our warm spot Friday. But we will have to contend with that rain. 50s for Saturday and Sunday, but we will be dry. And then those colder temperatures settling in, coldest night Sunday night into Monday. And then some 70s back on the board, and we'll see those 70s continue through next weekend. Harrison Body Shop fishing game forecast in the good category, 11:20 a.m. and then once again, 11:20 p.m. as we move through our Friday.
Hey, how about we send you off into the night with a cute pick-me-up? I could use one too. Let's take a look. The London Zoo shared this adorable mother-child picture of their sloths ahead of Mother's Day in the UK. This is 3-month-old two-toed sloth Nova, clinging to its mom Marilyn in a tender embrace. Nova was born on New Year's Day and has been staying close to Marilyn as ever, as is critical for the development of the baby sloth. Now, the newborn will stay attached to mom for at least another 9 months until it's strong enough to swing from branches solo at the zoo's living rainforest, and that is adorable there.
Not a very fast-paced story there. The sloths are slow.
I do get it. It took me just a minute. It took me a second. I thought, well, maybe I should have read that one faster, but I get it.
Fun little fact, though.
Yeah?
For some reason, my nickname was Sloth growing up.
Really? Why? Did you put things off? Is that what it was?
No, I think it was because I was just slow. I wasn't very fast and
He was an athlete. I'm not sure I believe that, but
listen,
anyway.
I got the nickname for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, that's it, everyone, for the news at 5. Hope to see you at 10 again right here on Fox 24.
Right now, stick around. We got Family Feud coming up next.